Hey. How's everybody doing? Ori! What's going on, sister? I do my phone. Ooh, Vincy Lou Hoo! How are you? I should have paid before I got on here. Oh well. I'd be alright. I'm hot all of a sudden. Lena, is Sienna going to be here today? Do you know? Yeah, I can read that. I have got my contacts in. Y'all like my hair? Needs a good trimming. It's wild and crazy. 90? What is it here? I don't even know. 64 here. It's probably just about perfect. And thank you. And I would love to get outside, but I got sinus pressure here. I gotta take another pill too. And I don't know if getting outside will make it worse or better. I keep going out on the deck. You like me wild and messy too. Don't lie. I'm just glad the brown got covered up. It's still wet. I'm letting it air dry. There we go. You like me wild and messy too. I know Nina does. Did she say what chapters she wanted me to read? Because it's going to take like 16 chapters to get an hour in because these chapters are short. So she didn't say. I'm going to. Ooh, didn't realize I left it that bad. I'm going to start at the beginning and just read. If you are watching and you can't find me, I don't know if I'm even on. Okay. Tap on my video and it'll bring up the chats head. Why is YouTube not on my new phone? Oh my. I'll have to download that later. Okay, no big deal. 2 more minutes, we'll go ahead and start so I can get a bunch in. Because the beginning is a lot of legwork. And I don't know if I'll even get into where things start going bad. But it'd be all right. It'd be all right. No, I have 3 devices right here right now. If I go, hey, the G word, everything on here is going to start opening stuff up. Yeah, I can't do that. Hey, Miss Shirley. I can't do that right now. And somehow my TV got signed out of Google, so my glasses to read. Yep. I'll have to wear my glasses to read, y'all, so Miss Surly, you doing all right, sister? Mm. All righty, one more minute. I'm going to get started. If anybody ever asks you how to get on the chat, tell them to tap on the video and it usually opens up. Just tap it once and it'll usually open up a chat button, the chat page. Miss Shirley, we are just doing just peachy as can be around here. Just crazy as ever. The usual allergy season stuff. But other than that, we all right. Alrighty, so prologue. Oh, somebody messaged Jackie too, because I don't know if she realizes we got it today. Prologue. What do you do to the woman who ruined your life? Do you sit back and let it spiral out of control? Or do you plot out your revenge? For me, revenge was the focus of my life. It has been for a while now. It is her fault I'm like this. Her fault that I did not get what I wanted out of life. Now it is my time to get back what I lost. The quiet click of the camera sounds a lot louder in the stillness. It gives me a sense of meaning in my shitty life. Click after click, I take one after another. I'm getting quite the collection now. If only I could show them off. But time will tell its story, and I will be there to narrate it step by step. Waiting for Polaroid snaps to dry out and then develop it is a lengthy process. I sip on my coffee while I wait and think of all the things that I could inflict on her. Putting down my cup, I take my notebook and pen and begin to bullet point all my tactics. Although I don't know exactly until I get there how it's going to go. I'm not too sure how to plan it. Maybe I will let fate take its course instead. As the picture takes form, a satisfied grin settles on my lips, and one by one, I place them on the board on the wall. Her and him. One by one, I will take them down and anyone else who gets in my way. Picking the news journal up, I circle the job that is going to change the course of my destiny with red ink. Reagan Quinn is about to meet karma in the worst form. I take one last look at my artwork on the wall to appease my mind's eye and pull the door closed behind me, pushing the single key into the lock and turn it. Once in the bedroom, I hide the key in my dresser and slip on my shoes. I brush down my white shirt before pulling on a sweater. With one look in the mirror, I am ready. Time to play the game. 1. Reagan. As I look around my office, I know this is where I belong. Having a big corner office has always been my dream, and I have finally achieved it. I stand in front of the floor to ceiling window, fold my arms across my chest, and look out. On a sunny day, it brings in so much light, you feel like you're bringing the outside inside. I'm the CEO of Hicks Life Solutions, and that makes me even more proud of myself. Not only am I the youngest in the company's history at 29, I'm also the first female. The way I see it, a company that has been around for more than 30 years is damn good, especially being in the pharmaceutical business that we're in. I didn't get here without hard work. I'm determined and I always have been. even if it meant I had to forego relationships. Of course, I've never been the kind of girl to hang on the word of some guy to let him whisper sweet nothings in my ear and talk shit. I don't giggle at stupid jokes and I don't get all starry eyed at a compliment. If I was going to have a man, I'd need one who could handle me, a man who isn't scared to take charge. There aren't many of those around, though, at least not that I've come across. Not until Everett Brooks came around in his sinful suits and showed me what I've been missing. I promised myself I wouldn't let him sway me, even if he did smell good and have a body carved for sex. There's no way I was going to fall to my knees and worship him. If only I could have kept that vow. The red light on my desk phone flashes over and over again, halting all thoughts of Everett. That telltale light tells me that yet again my assistant isn't doing her job. I slam my hands on the desk and push myself up from my chair to look through the glass that separates mine and my assistant's office. She isn't anywhere to be found. A low growl scrapes the back of my throat. This was becoming a daily occurrence. The ringing wasn't going to stop anytime soon, and I know she isn't going to rush back for it. So, schooling my expression, I push my back I push back my anger and take a deep breath in through my nose before I slowly blow it out. Once I'm feeling a little calmer, I paint a smile onto my face and hold the receiver up to my ear. Hicks Life Solutions, how may I help you today? My phone voice is sickly sweet, one I have spent years perfecting until I became CEO. A CEO that answers her own damn phone. Reagan, I recognized the husky voice on the other end of the line right away and sit down. It was none other than the director himself. Fuck. The director was going to love hearing his chief executive answering her own damn phone. Mr. Hicks, I say cheerily. Yes, it is me. Yes, it's me. No assistant today? She's currently away from her desk, running an errand. I lie as I glance back to her desk, but still she's not there. She seems to spend a lot of time away from her desk. Can you not find her a job to do at her desk? Of course. It feels like the blood is pumping erratically through my veins as I drum my fingertips on the desk in front of me. Reagan, you really should get that assistant business figured out. I need you on top of your game, not playing secretary. I understand, Mr. Hicks, and I'm dealing with it. Of that, I can assure you. Good. Well, when you've sorted your little staffing problem out, call me back. Yes, sir. The dial tone filtering through the receiver is not a good sign. My boss had cut me off. Fucking great. That's all I need. First, I had an assistant that couldn't stay in her fucking seat long enough to do her job. Then her job I'm paying her to do. Then I have to make excuses to the director of the fucking company who hangs up on me. Well, I wasn't made chief executive of the company because I'm as sweet as sugar. No, I was made CEO of Hicks Life Solutions because I'm a hard worker and get results. I've been known to be ruthless and I don't take shit from anyone. Terry Hicks knew that. I could grab a deal by the balls, and I had shown already that male competitors didn't faze me. Having a useless assistant wouldn't either. I'd never had a huge circle of people around me. I'd never been the kind to be in a massive crowd, even in school. Ruby Spencer is my best friend. We went to college together. She was the sassy and vibrant vixen, all red hair and fair skin, who doesn't give a shit who she mouths off to. We roomed together at Rutgers University, and from that first day of freshman year, we were inseparable, and that is how it has been ever since. We really should not have been friends. If I remember rightly, it was Ruby who dragged me along. She's always loved people. I was always the one who would sit back to people watch, try to figure them out. You could learn a lot from a person if you watch their character come to life before you. I don't trust easily. I have a guard up, and if you manage to get through the initial force field, you have a friend for life. My family have always supported my work and everything I've ever aspired to do. When my dad died 3 years ago, I felt like something died in me too. If I'm honest, I don't think I've ever recovered fully. Of course, when I met Everett Brooks, he somehow had me all figured out. It seems we are two peas in a pod. We both thrive for success and both run flourishing businesses. Everett is the owner of EB Pharmaceuticals. He was rumored to be the most eligible bachelor in the business, and dare I say, the sexiest. He's not just single, he's a self obsessed playboy, and the man oozes sex. I clearly never stood a chance. I could have been wearing a fucking chastity belt and he would have found a way to get past it. I need to clear my head of Everett. I look out into the sales office and still can't see Brownwin, Bronwyn, my assistant. I am beyond frustrated. I huff and yet again stand, but the phone ringing again stops me. Everett, Chapter 2. Walking my client out, I give him a fake ass smile before shutting the door behind him and go back to sit at my desk. What a dick. I wish I didn't have to deal with clients all day. But no one can do my job like me. It's crazy to think how much money changes hands here, and most of it isn't even legal. With fake contracts and more people on the take than there are straight down the line, it makes you much more cautious and makes you want to look into the backgrounds of people you're dealing with. Whenever I have a dilemma, I usually work it out with sex. I'm not the kind of man who really settles. It's just not me, and I've never had it on one of my vision boards. Let's put it that way. Sex always helps ease the tension, but that's not going to happen right now. If I could get away from here, I would, but I have back-to-back meetings today. The next best the next best thing though is on the other end of the phone. I'm already thinking about having Reagan Quinn beneath me again. Just her name has my dick straining against my zipper. Picking up the receiver of my desk phone, I dial the number of Hicks Life Solutions. It rings for a lot longer than it usually does. That's strange. Reagan is strict about letting the phone go unanswered. I'm about to hang up and try again when the call gets picked up. Hicks Life Solutions, how may I help you today? I know that voice. My dick knows that voice too, especially when she screamed my name. I can't help but smile to myself at the way her thoughts are going. Well, 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 Reagan. Mr. Brooks, what can I do for you? She tries to keep it formal for appearance's sake, but I still can't stop the smile that stretches across my face. As much as I love the secretary voice, Ray, why are you answering your own phone? Do you not have an assistant to do that anymore? I mean, I know you I know you women have this shit going on where you like to be treated as equals, but aren't you a bit overexperienced? No, I don't have a secretary. Well, not after today. So, what can I help you with, Everett? She sighs, obviously not in the mood, but hearing her cute, sexy telephone voice does things to me. I lean back in my chair and get myself comfy. There's plenty you can do for me, but for now, we need to arrange to meet up. Okay, what for? I mean, I know why you like to meet up, but this sounds different. I want to run something by you. I've had a meeting with this company. I know you've dealt with them before, but I'm not too sure I believe what he's saying. He seems like a shady fucker to me. You do remember what happened the last time we had to discuss a product in your office, don't you? Or have you forgotten already? Miss Quinn, I lowered the tone of my voice. How could I ever forget that? Just plucking that monumental time from my memory when I fucked her over my desk puts me in physical pain as my dick hardens even more. Everett, I don't have time for this right now. I have a few things to figure out. I have quite a full schedule at the moment, but I'm sure I can fit you in sometime this week. Fit me in? What the fuck? She'd do more than fit me in. I do love when you go all professional on me, but we both know we don't need an assistant to schedule our meetings. Everett, please, not now. I have enough shit going on. I'm going to have to put you on hold for a moment. Reagan? I call out her name, but all I get in return are those annoying fucking beeps that tell me my call is being transferred to someone else. I slam the receiver down before anyone can pick up the call, resting my arms on top of my desk. As shocked as I was at hearing her voice on the other end of the line, I was more shocked that she cut me off. Miss Quinn will be feeling the sting of my palm for that. I can't wait to turn her pale skin pink and then ram my dick inside her so hard she'll be seeing stars. Joy, my assistant of 7 years, knocks on my door and comes in. Your next appointment is here, Mr. Brooks. I nod. Thanks, Joy. If you could show them in. She gives me a smile. When this meeting is over, could you grab me a coffee and a sandwich, please? Of course, Mr. Brooks. Anything in particular? No, anything will do. No problem at all. I'll show them in now. Here we go again. Now to get Reagan out of my mind long enough to do my job. It really is good. I read till about chapter 7, 8, something like that. It's really good. Chapter 3, Reagan. But you see why I said I'm going to be reading like 16 chapters to put in an hour. These chapters are really short. There's like 75 chapters in the book, something like that. So, it's not a short book. It's a regular sized book. It's just got short chapters. 3, Reagan. That man seriously knows how to get me all worked up. If I hadn't been so fucking angry about my assistant, I would have found it funny. Everett knows what tone to use on me and how to speak to me to get my core clenching. Although I did find some humor in hanging up on him, I know only I could get away with that. If I've even gotten away with it at all. My assistant's chair is still empty as I peer through the gap of the door. I search the open space of the main office until I find her, my teeth clamping together when I see her hanging off one of the cubicles, flirting with one of the sales agents. Miss Silver, I yell and watch as she stills. My office, now. I storm back around my desk and sit down, my knee bouncing as I wait for her to follow. Bronwyn takes timid steps into my office and closes the door behind her. Standing across from me with her hands clasped together in front of her, she casts her eyes downward. Yes, Miss Quinn. I'd like to know why you were away from your desk again. I wait on for an answer for a moment, but don't get one. Miss Silver, I can't allow this to go on. I need competence. You knew when we hired you what type of business this was. I can't afford for you to be away from your desk other than at scheduled break periods. I do not pay you to flirt with other employees. You do that on your own time, not mine. You do realize that while you were away from your desk, Mr. Hicks called. Now, instead of having a conference call with the director of the company, I'm having to sort this issue out. I'm sorry, Miss Quinn. You're sorry? Are you sorry for all the other times you've been inefficient? I just about see the slight nod of her head before I catch the small squeak of her voice. Yes. It's not good enough. I shouldn't have to look through the pane of glass and wonder where you are. You know what? I'm done with this. You're fired. What? But Miss Quinn, I'm sorry, she stutters out. You can work until the end of the day. It's not the first time we've had this conversation, and I refuse to have it again. Rubbing my forehead with the tips of my fingers, I sigh. Another sniffle catches at the back of her throat, and her eyes begin to fill with tears. Grabbing the box of tissues from the corner of my desk, I place them in front of her. She pulls one out and gently dabs at her eyes. You're dismissed. I'm not a patient person, and showing my emotions is something I never do. She turns away from me as quick as she can, leaving my office and pulling the door closed behind her. I lean back in my chair and let out a breath before checking my email and finding one from my boss. Once I read it, I call him and deal with the business at hand. Once most of the agents have left for the day, I watch Bronwyn gather her stuff together into a box. Pulling the strap of her bag onto her shoulder, she picks up the box and glances at me through the glass that separates us before leaving the office for good. Picking up the phone receiver, I call HR. Within seconds, my head of HR answers. Stephen, I need a new assistant. Can you put it out internally first, and if no one applies, then go external? Of course, Miss Quinn. Oh, and Stephen, I need this done ASAP. With my temper striking, I slam the receiver down and sit back in my chair. Bronwyn has worked here since before I was hired as CEO. She wasn't very efficient as a normal secretary in HR, so I wonder why the last CEO thought she'd be of any use to him, unless he liked being a perv and looking down the low cut tops which she always wore. The day had come to an end, and I couldn't wait to go home and sink into a relaxing bubble bath. I'm in early the next day. I needed to make sure everything is set up and my meetings have been scheduled. Once I know we're back on track, I lean back in my chair. A call comes through. Can y'all hear my stomach growling? A call comes through from the main desk. Yes, Stephen. Mr. Brooks is on the line from EB Pharmaceuticals. He was quite adamant that he speaks to you. Would you like me to schedule him for another time? A smirk teases my lips as I think about hanging up on him yesterday. I know I'll pay for that, and I can hardly wait to have his hands on me. No, it's fine. I have a spare 5 minutes. Put him through. I wait on the line until I hear the deep, sexy voice of Everett Brooks. Well, well, Miss Quinn. I thought I was going to have to come down there and demand to see you for a minute. Who's the dude? Hello, Everett. I smiled to myself at his question about Stephen. He's my stand in assistant. I fired my other one. How many is that now? He asked with a hint of teasing in his arrogant tone. Only one. So, what do you want, Everett? You're on a tight schedule. I think Stephen might be timing you. I just hope my new assistant is just as good as Stephen is. I sighed to myself in wonder. Hmm. Hmm. Ev, we both know you won't come downtown because it would mean you'd have to keep your hands to yourself. And we both know you don't have much willpower. We both know that you would give in before me, Ray. I want to see you tonight. I don't even think about hanging up on me today. I think that could be arranged. What time would you like me to schedule you into my private calendar? The smirk I had soon turns into a full on smile. Everett and I have been seeing each other for a couple of months now, but we've kept it on the low. We didn't want too many people knowing we were together right away, especially when we were fighting for the same account. We didn't want other competitors thinking he let me win. won the account fair and square. I won the account fair and square. What time will you be done tonight? Oh, for you, I could probably get away and from here around 6. How's that? I can work with 6. The usual place. Just thinking of seeing you later has my dick throbbing. You're lucky I didn't see you last night. I can't fucking wait to get my hands on you. His voice turns gravelly It's how he sounds when we have sex, and I feel it all the way through to my core. I have to sit around with a hard on now, and I have a meeting. Thanks, Ray. I can hear the smirk in his voice. I did nothing. Enjoy your meeting, baby. See you later. I whisper the last bit and blow him a kiss. Putting down the receiver, I sit back and sigh, smiling to myself like a fool. I'm not the kind of woman to fall head over heels for a guy, but Everett is different. Now, not that I'm falling for him at all, because I'm not, but he accepts me for the person I am. He knows what I like. He's cool with me being as powerful as him on a professional level. There aren't many guys around who can cope with that. The knocking on my door drags me from my Everett haze. I meet Stephen's gaze through the glass and nod for him to enter. HR has gathered a list of around 50 applicants. He hands over the list as he reaches me, and I flick my gaze over the long list of names before passing it back with an agreeable nod. Okay, go through it, shorten it, do the interviews, and let me know the top five. Smiling through tight lips, he turns away and heads to the door. Oh, Stephen, I wait for him to spin back around. Please make sure they're worthwhile applicants. I don't want my time wasted when I can use it elsewhere. My next PA needs to be outstanding. I'll let HR know. Thank you. The door closes behind him, and I turn back to my monitor, going through the testimonials for the drugs that have been tried and tested. So far, the reviews are good. Mr. Hicks will be pleased. I attach all the figures to an email and send it over to him. The office is still amok with employees, but when I look at the time and see it's almost 5, I push out of my chair and head into the adjoining bathroom in my office. When I became CEO, Terry Hicks told me I could have exactly what I wanted, and damn it, I was going to have it. I've worked fucking hard for this position. I put in the extra hours, any overtime that was available, I did it. I showed him I was more than worthy of the job. Rinsing my hands under the cold water, I freshen up and see that my makeup hasn't really faded. I just reapply my lipstick and push my lips together. Smoothing my suit down with my palms, I then run a brush through my hair. It's usually up for work, but this morning I wanted to change. I take the clips from my bag and twist it into a chiffon and pin it up. Everett has a thing for my hair. In fact, Everett has a thing for everything. Taking a perfume from my bag, I spray it all over me and take one last look in the mirror. I'll do. It's going to take me at least 30 minutes to get across town. Picking up my purse and making sure I have everything, I head for my office, locking it up as I leave and stop by Stephen's desk. I'm heading out early for a late meeting. If anyone calls, just take a message and I'll get on it in the morning. Sure will, Miss Quinn. You have a good evening. Oh, I will. I will. You too, Stephen. Turning from him, I leave the office and head down the hallway to the elevators. I was right about getting across town. The roads are crazy. I always say I'm not going to drive to work, but every time I go to leave, it's like my precious car calls to me. So here I am sitting in a long line of afternoon traffic. It's not too long though before I'm reaching our place. Parking in the lot of the hotel, I'll lock up my car and head into the building. I greet the concierge with a nod and head up to the 10th floor. Stepping out of the elevator, I make my way to the only door on the floor. Pausing at the door, I reach into my purse, taking the small compact out to check my lipstick and my hair again, seeing that they're almost near perfect. I drop it back inside and waste no more time before rapping my knuckles on the door. It opens less than a second later and my breath hitches. Everett is standing there, one arm. Picture this, girls. Just picture it. One arm resting against the top of the door frame, his dress shirt hanging open. The button of his pants is already undone, revealing his olive skin and a scattering of hair that runs down the middle of his torso and disappears under his pants. My mouth waters at the sight in front of me, and I capture my lip between my teeth. Hello, Miss Quinn. He snakes an arm around my waist and pulls me against him until our bodies are flush. As quick as a flash of lightning, his free hand is weaving around to the back of my neck, holding me still, and he plants his lips on mine. The bitter taste of coffee begins to seep into my mouth, and I push my body against him until my breasts are flush against his chest. He pulls away all too quickly for my liking and circles my wrist, gripping it tightly with his fingers and guiding my hand to his crotch before saying in a desired clock voice, "That's what I have to sit with since I spoke to you earlier. Get in here and fix it." He grins at me. Everett knows I need some release after the stressful week I've had. He is the only person who can do that for me. The world only consists of him and me, and he drags off his shirt. I give the door a shove with my hand. As soon as I hear it click shut, I drop to my knees before him and quickly unzip his pants. My greedy lips wrap it around the thick head of his cock. Everett pulls the clips from my hair and grabs a handful in his fist. Suddenly, I'm not Reagan Quinn, CEO. I'm just Reagan, needing to blow off some steam. He delves his fingers further into my hair and controls my movements. I love every minute of it. 4. Reagan. I love staring out over the New York skyline. It reminds me of how far I've come. I cross my arms over my chest and suck in a deep breath, preparing for the next applicant. It's not been a good day so far. I've interviewed 3 people, and none of them have been up to my standards of perfection. I had specific orders for Stephen. They had to be outstanding. Does he even know that word? There are so many other things I need to be doing. A sharp knock sounds on my door. I shout, "Enter," knowing it's Stephen with the next applicant. The door opens and a blonde, well dressed woman follows him in. The skirt is a little short for an interview, but I try to see past that. Stephen introduces her to me, and I invite her to take a seat. We get the niceties out of the way and begin the process once more. The interview has been going on for more than 15 minutes, and we haven't gotten to the main interview questions. She's just rambling on about herself, looking around the room, never at me. The more she speaks, the more she's boring the shit out of me. She has this goofy, happy look on her face as she speaks about her family and her kids and how little Toby has just started walking. Shuffling through the pages of her resume in front of me, I go back through her qualifications and achievements. She's never been a PA, only a secretary. How the hell did she make it to the top 5? I need to cut this short. The first strike was the inappropriate clothing. The second strike, she won't make eye contact. I need someone proficient who shows initiative, not someone who's going to fly off into their own little dreamland at any given moment. I'm not the easiest to work with. I know that. She's definitely not the person for me or this company. Grabbing my red pen, I draw a line through her name and look up. As soon as she takes a breath, I cut in before she can go on. "Rebecca, thank you so much for coming in today." I push up my chair and reach for my hand across the width of the desk. She quickly stands and shakes my hand in a loose grip. "I'll be in touch as soon as I've seen all the applicants." Walking around the desk, I stand at the glass door and open it for her. "Thank you so much for seeing me, Miss Quinn." "You're welcome." With a nod and a grin, I stand aside and let her pass by. I close the door and survey my large corner office, a little bit of pride bubbling up in me. I've worked for Hicks Life Solutions for 10 years. I started as a PA and worked my way to the top of the food chain. I love my job. My job is my life. I sometimes work 15-hour days, so I need a PA that can keep up and be available during that time. I watch as Stephen, my acting assistant, jumps up from his desk and directs Rebecca to the elevator. Standing in the doorway, I wait for him to turn around. "Stephen, in here." I make my way back around my desk and sit down. "Yes, Miss Quinn." Close the door and sit down, I say, nodding to the chair in front of me. Stephen sits on the edge with his hands clasped in his lap. What the hell was that? How did she make the top 5? I need competence, Stephen. The tone of my voice is firm and oozing with authority. Sorry, Miss Quinn. I don't know. She seemed to have all the right qualifications. Except personal assistant, I think you'll find. Secretary is written on there, so if that's the case, I may as well pull someone from out of there to assist me. I point at the cubicles outside of my office. Hell, you may as well do the job. He looks everywhere but at me. Well, you can let her know she's not getting the job, I tell him with a huff. You better hope the next one is better. I dismiss him and he jumps up instantly, not wasting any time getting back to his office. I lean back in my chair and heave out a sigh of frustration. I close my eyes, massaging my temples in a circular motion to ease some of my stress. How hard can it be to find a new assistant? It's difficult for me to believe that no one has fit the bill yet. I open my eyes and check the time on the Rolex hanging from my wrist. It's already 6. With renewed determination, I sit up straight and shuffle through the resumes on my desk to see who's next on the list. Margie May Campbell. With a few minutes to spare before she comes in, I walk over to the water cooler in the corner of my office. Once my cup is filled to the top, I down the refreshing liquid before grabbing my shoulder bag and entering my adjoining bathroom. Looking at my reflection in the mirror, I brush lightly under my eyes with the tips of my fingers before dipping into my bag and taking out my lipstick and mascara to touch up my makeup. The last thing I need is to look like a disheveled mess when my next applicant comes in. Once I've applied the black liquid to my lashes and topped up my bright red lipstick, I turn to look in the full-length mirror on the wall and admire the outfit I picked out this morning. I do love a good power suit to get me through the day. My black fitted skirt suit is paired with a red top and my forever faithful red Christian Louis Vuittons. The black and red is a severe contrast to my blonde hair. Miss Shirley, let's just say there's ulterior motives in place. Feeling ready for the final round of interviews, I quickly wash and dry my hands before going back to my desk. Taking my phone from my purse, I go to check for messages when a gentle rap sounds on the door. Raising my gaze, I see Stephen. Come in, I shout loud and clear. Come in. Your next appointment is here, Miss Quinn. I drop my phone back into my bag and say, you can show her in. Thank you, Stephen. Nodding, he leaves for a second before coming back with the meekest, most simple woman I've ever seen walking this earth. She's wearing black pants, a flat pair of pumps, and a blouse that doesn't fit her properly. To finish off the ensemble, she's wearing a black cardigan. This business is part of a man's world, and the last thing I need is a woman who won't be a little combative. Fixing a grin to my face, I wait for Stephen to leave us. I push back my desk and walk around to greet this new applicant. I stand tall on my heels and hold out my hand in front of me. Hello, Miss Campbell. I'm Reagan Quinn. Please take a seat. Chapter 5. She takes timid steps into my office and takes my hand in greeting. She barely makes any eye contact with me. I'd probably put her at 5'3", tiny compared to my 5'10", thanks to my heels. Once she's seated, I pull the door open and call out to Stephen. Stephen, can I get a cup of coffee and whatever Miss Campbell would like? I turn to look over my shoulder. Miss Campbell, would you like some coffee? No, thank you, she answers in a quiet voice. I'll just have water, thanks. Reiterating that to Stephen, I shut the door and grab her a cup of water from the cooler. I placed it in front of her before going back around my desk and taking my chair. A few moments later, Stephen comes back with my coffee. I take a much needed sip of the strong caffeine and mentally prepare to get started. Margie smiles wildly at me before placing a folder and notepad and pen on the desk. What she lacks in fashion sense, she makes up for in competence. Well, that's a start at least. Our eyes meet, and seeing the expectant look I have on my face, she picks up the folder and hands it to me. This contains, let me get my voice right. This contains references. That's not a good voice for her. What do I need? This contains references and certificates to show I've gained extra qualifications. I've studied this position really well, and I think I know what you need to be successful in this job. Her sudden spark of confidence interests me and makes me sit up a little taller, waiting to see what comes out of her mouth next. I take the photo from her and open the cover. Sitting there on top, just like she said, is a list of references. I flip to the next sheet, look over the next one, and the next until I've reached the end. She has certificates in most computer programs, and her references are from previous companies where she's worked as a personal assistant. So, Miss Campbell, what can you tell me about yourself? She shuffles in her seat uncomfortably, but I put that down to nerves. I smile at her, hopefully calming her enough to go on. She puts her hands in her lap and stills for a second before launching into her history. Well, I'm an only child. I lost my parents in an airplane crash 2 years ago, so it's just me now. Now I know why she looked uncomfortable. I'm sorry for your loss. A tight smile tugs at my lips. Thank you. Her expression barely changes and keeps her eyes on me. So, if I needed you to work, say, until 8 p.m., would you be okay with that? This position isn't quite a 9 to 5 like the others in the office. I'd need you to stay late if we have an evening meeting. I'm fine with that, Ms. Quinn. I understand the rules of the business. I know as your personal assistant, I have to be available to you at all hours of the day. If I need something done, I expect it right away. I don't expect excuses. This is a very important business and mistakes won't be tolerated. I understand, Miss Quinn. She holds my stare, which is something not many in this office can do. So, what do you know about Hicks Life Solutions? I know that they do mainly experimental drugs for cancer and other terminal illnesses. I can see you've done your homework. I'm impressed. My cell phone rings from inside my bag, but I ignore it, wanting to know more about the petite woman in front of me, the one who surprisingly seems to be winning me over. If I were to offer you the job, how soon could you start? Her brown eyes widen a little, but she once again schools her features. Right away. I'm actually out of work at the moment anyway. I've been doing some agency work, secretarial, so I'm available as soon as I'm needed. Eyeing her and her paperwork once more, I think, fuck it. She's more than won me over qualification wise, and what she doesn't know, I can teach her. Miss Campbell, I'd like to offer you the job. Can you start tomorrow at 7:30 a.m.? Wow, of course. Thank you so much. I'd be honored to work here for you, Ms. Quinn. I'll get that contract drawn up over the next couple of days, but I need you here ASAP. Is there anything I need to bring tomorrow? Just your social security card, driver's license, and your bank credentials or bank details. I can do that. She picks up her overly large bag and tucks a stray lock of dark hair behind her ear before straightening her clothing. She shoulders her bag and stands up straight, reaching her hand out to me. I take it in a firm grip and shake. See you tomorrow. The yawning starts. Ugh. I don't know why it happened, y'all. It's got to be oxygen. You think so, Vincy? Turning on her heel, she goes to the door before turning back to me. Thank you for this chance, Miss Quinn. I won't let you down, I promise. I smile watching her leave my office. Once Stephen has seen her out and she's disappeared from view, he goes back to his office down the hall. I grab Margie's folder and make the short walk to his office and place my new hires folder on his desk. I've hired Ms. Campbell, so you can get started on setting up her desk. She starts tomorrow morning at 7:30. Of course, ma'am. I return to my office and start packing up for the day. I pile all my shit inside my bag, place my phone on top, and head out. I stop by Stephen's desk to make sure everything is ready for Margie to start tomorrow, and he assures me it is. Stephen is probably the only other person in this place I actually trust. I would have asked him to be my assistant, but he was happy in HR. Ha ha, there goes all your ideas. I say goodnight to him and head to the elevator. When the doors part, I step inside and lean back against the wall and travel to the 34 floors to the lobby. The elevator comes to a standstill and the doors part again. The only sound of the large lobby, is the click of my heels as they come in contact with the marble floor. Saying goodnight to Barney, the concierge, I head for the parking lot. Time to call it a day. At least I know I have a PA. She was definitely a surprise. Now it's time to see if she's really as good as her references say. One more chapter. Chapter 6. After a peaceful night of takeout, a bottle of wine, and a soak in the tub, I'm refreshed and ready to start the day. Grabbing everything I need, I make my way to the underground lot of my apartment block and unlock my car. Placing my purse on the seat next to me, I start the engine of my sleek black Corvette. This was my present to myself when I got promoted to CEO. Smoothing my palms over the soft leather of the steering wheel, I listened to the engine purr for a couple of seconds before leaving for work. Stepping from the elevator at the end of the hallway where Life Solutions takes up residence, I make the short journey to where our offices are situated. I push through the glass doors, making the few employees already here doing what they do best, selling and making us money, and tapping away at their keyboards, look up and take notice before I make my way around the office. A call of good morning turns my head to where the voice is coming from, and I nod my greeting before continuing on to my office. A smooth hand, I smooth my hand over the chrome nameplate when I reach my door. A moment of pride flowing through me. I grab a handkerchief from my bag and polish the plate until it's gleaming. I look around for Stephen before I go inside. When I don't see him, I push down on the chrome handle and go inside. As I'm putting my bag down, I hear his voice. Good morning, Miss Quinn. I have your coffee. I turn around to see Stephen with a cup in his hand. I really should give this man a raise. Taking the cup from him with a nod and a small grin, I take a sip before putting it down on the coaster on my desk. Is everything set up for Miss Campbell? I ask him, but getting right down to business. Yes, ma'am. Good. Let me know when she arrives. Of course, ma'am. That'll be all. Glancing at the clock hanging on the wall, I see it's only 7:05. Stephen leaves and I sit down at my desk. I take my phone from my bag before setting it on the floor next to me. A message from Everett catches my attention. Lunch later, I'll pick you up at 12:30. Skipping my thumbs across my keyboard, I type out a message to send back to him. Depends on where you're taking me. He responds, only the best for my sexy CEO. You may get more than lunch. A smile on my lips, I reply, I can hardly wait. I drop my phone back in my bag and take a sip of coffee, ready to start the day. Suddenly, there's a sharp rap on my door. Stephen is waiting patiently on the other side. He knows not to enter my office until I say so. Come in, I shout, straightening my chair. Just letting you know that Miss Campbell has arrived. I'll show her to her desk. Thanks, Stephen. Make sure you get her an employee number and password for the computer and get her set up on the system. When you're finished, you can show her in. With a nod in reply, he closes the door behind him. Powering my computer on, I wait a second for it to load and then log in to my Hicks Life account. I start on my emails while I wait for Margie. While I've had no PA, I've had to manage everything myself, including emails. It'll be nice to hand them over and get back to doing what I do best, making money. I decided to call a meeting with the whole of HR to find out why I had to waste time interviewing applicants who didn't have a clue about the business. Once I've drafted the email, I send it out. By the time I've gone through the rest of my emails, Stephen is showing Margie into my office. I study her a little more closely now that I'm awake and refreshed. She looks a little similar to last night: dress pants, a white tunic, and a blazer. Her dark hair is pulled back into a ponytail, and black rimmed glasses cover her hazel eyes. Miss Campbell, good to see you again. I smile and point to the seat across the desk from me. I assume Stephen got you all set up and ready to work. Yes, ma'am. Great. I dragged the pile of files that had been set on my desk and put them in front of her. So I shouldn't need to tell you how to do your job, but all calls are to be announced to me before they get put through. Stephen will walk you through the rest and show you around. These files will need filing first. They hit the desk with a thud. I ignore the slight jump her body makes at the sound and continue. I'm sure you have your own system to work by, so I'll leave you to sort your desk out. Do you have any questions for me before you start? Yes. What order would you like them filed in? Her timidness is quaint, but I'm hoping that after being here a couple of weeks that will wear off. Alphabetical, and the filing room is just down the hall. I'll make sure Stephen shows you everything. I take her nod as an answer and go on. I run a tight ship here, Miss Campbell. I don't expect you to sit around with nothing to do. The biggest part of this job is taking initiative, not waiting on me to give you assignments all the time. You'll be shadowing Stephen for the day, so anything you're not sure about, just ask him. I stand up from my chair and reach out to shake her hand. I hope you'll be happy working here. She takes my hand in hers and shakes it with a timid smile. I'm sure I will. Thank you again for the chance, Miss Quinn. I can't wait to get started. I dismiss her with a nod, and once she has all the files in her hand, she leaves my office and goes to her own desk. See, you guys need to go back and read the prologue again, but I'm not going to do it for you. So, alrighty, what y'all think? It's $2.99 on Amazon, and let's see. Boop, 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 boop. I think I'm going to go eat some pizza bites with some mozzarella on it. Okay, so Wednesday we have Mara Vicker, Designer Assassin. Yes! I've been waiting on that one, y'all. Whoop, whoop. And then Beth Hildenbrand, The Path of Temptation. So we got a big week coming, y'all. A big old week. Yeehaw! So, all right, ladies, you have a great evening, and go outside if it's pretty where you're at. If not, find something to read. Read to a child, read to your hubby, read to your dog, whatever. Read to yourself. I don't care. Just read. Have a great evening, everybody, and I'll talk to you later. Happy reading.